How are we doing, people? It's Nex here from Gamer Theories with a breakdown, predictions and theories video for the preview of episode 5, Eastwatch. Alright, so wrapping up the spoils of war, we can see Daenerys addressing the remaining surviving troops from the Lannister army. She states, "I'm not here to murder," but she really is, if they don't bend the knee and join her, that is. By the way, how many more times do you think we'll hear her ask people to do that? I would have thought that if Jaime and Bronn were captured and still alive at this point, that they would have been at the front of the gathering, so I'm guessing that Bronn, being such a crafty sellsword, managed to pull Jaime out of the water and that they both escaped amidst the smoke of the battle. I did try to zoom in a bit on this next shot, but honestly, it's impossible to tell who these 2 or 3 soldiers are wading through the ash and the ruin. So, what's going to happen to Jaime and Bronn? I have the results from the poll in my last video, and your verdict is straight down the middle. 50% of you think that they'll be captured or killed, with 49% of you thinking that they'll escape through the battlements. One thing I couldn't stop thinking about towards the end of the battle was that we didn't really get to see much of Randyll or Dickon, except for when the latter saved Jaime. We know they're not dead yet because they would make for some juicy on-screen killings if they were going to, so I wonder whether we'll see them in this scene with Daenerys. Randyll Tarly has a pretty fiery tongue, and if he's made the decision to overthrow the Tyrells and fight against Daenerys, then I don't see him about to beg or bend the knee anytime soon. Dickon, on the other hand, expressed how uncomfortable he was with the campaign, having to kill men that he knew and had been on hunts with. If Randyll is present in this scene, then my call is that he gets burnt alive to made an example of, which will then scare Dickon into submitting to Dany. Following this, we get a couple of shots of Tyrion and Varys back at Dragonstone, with Varys saying the words, "You need to find a way to make her listen." I'm not sure if this gives away whether she must torch a few people or if it's just referring to the fact that she didn't listen to them about flying off on Drogon. Regardless, all this keeps doing is igniting the question of where does Varys' loyalties lie. Remember, he made Dany a promise. "If you ever think I'm failing the people, you won't conspire behind my back. You'll look me in the eye and tell me as you have today." This is exactly what he's doing right here. Rather than being a faithful counsellor and talking to her himself, he's pawning the task off onto Tyrion. I already feel like Tyrion is conflicted about things, especially after watching the events at the end of the Spoils of War between Jaime and Daenerys. Also, he's already been the one to take so much of the heat for the things going wrong. Rightly for some of it, but not all of it. Now that the plundered gold from Highgarden has officially made its way through the gates of King's Landing, it will be seriously interesting to see what happens next between Cersei and the Iron Bank. There's only really a handful of options: pay them back using the gold and hope that they give their support to the crown, or don't pay them back at all and use the money to invest in the Golden Company. I wonder what her and Qyburn are talking about, because this shot of her speaking and then this next one of the two of them are different scenes, but they're cleverly clipped together to make out like they're one of the same. Notice the chair and how the backdrop of Cersei is different. I'm pretty excited to see the real introduction between Drogon and Jon Snow, especially because it seems like Jon just keeps his cool despite being right up inside Drogon's grill. Will we finally get the payoff that there is also a connection between Jon and the dragons? Next up, we see Jon, Dany and the camp having a vital council meeting, as it turns out that Jon has received a raven from Bran stating that he's seen the Night King and the army of the dead marching towards Eastwatch. This is huge. All of the pieces of episode 6 are already coming together. Tormund is at Eastwatch, Beric, Thoros and the Hound are already en route to the castle thanks to the visions from Sandor. All you have to do now is add Jon, Davos and perhaps 1 or 2 guests from Dragonstone and have them travel directly to Eastwatch, and you finally start to see how this company that goes north of the wall is formed. I don't think that we will see Jon go back to Winterfell or reunite with Bran and Arya until episode 7 now. For me, seeing these visions from Bran are easily what I am the most excited for. On one of the screenshots you can just about make out the Night King and some of his generals on horseback, which means I'm almost certain that we will see the clip of him looking at what seems to be Bran walked inside a raven. If it does turn out that the Night King can sense Bran in the raven, it's gonna freak me out. Personally, I think there's only so much you can try and credit their connection to the fact that he marked him. Also, I really hope that we get more than just a flash in the pan vision of the Night King though. But what do you guys think? Let's vote in the poll. Do you think it's too early yet for our Rhaegar vision, or are we overdue that flashback and it's coming in the next episode? Alright, well I'm going to wrap this video up. I'm so glad to properly have my voice back. Thank you guys for watching. It's not long now until episode 5, so until then, 7 blessings to you all, and I'll see you guys tonight.